We spoke too soon, General Hospital fans. After Sasha gave birth without much incident on the courtroom floor after going into labor on the witness stand, we thought Sasha would finally get her chance at happiness and peace, at least for a little while. We just didn't realize how little that while would be. 2 weeks ago, Soap Central documented GH's history of torturing poor Sasha for no reason, but we believed she had escaped another trip into the torture chamber. Now, we know that someone is after little Daisy. That mix-up in the hospital clearly didn't happen for no reason, and by accident. It was obvious that the show was foreshadowing what's to come. Since it was all's well that ends well when Daisy was found safe and sound, Sasha might feel she was paranoid and let her guard down. When she does that, someone looks like they're about to pounce. As Sasha and Michael gushed over their new daughter with Wiley and Amelia, someone lurked outside watching through the glass patio doors. We also know that someone is about to enter Daisy's nursery, and it looks like an ominous scene. While it seems logical that Willow would try to steal Sasha's baby, considering that she just lost her own children and is not in a good mental state, could that be too obvious? We know that Drew put Willow down for a nap, but how do we know that Willow didn't sneak out of the house and head over to the Q estate, a place she knows very well because she lived there for several years? While it's very possible that a broken Willow will indeed take Daisy, what if the culprit turns out to be someone else? Sidwell also seemed very interested in Sasha and her baby when he first heard she was pregnant while hiding in a church pew. He was also willing to give her a whole lot of money for doing very little. Sidwell's interest in Sasha and her baby could also extend to his infatuation with Sasha's mother, Holly. Let's not forget the beef that Sidwell has with Daisy's grandfather, Sonny. Sidwell is still the main suspect in the incendiary device mystery that gave us a brand new Michael. If he is behind a baby Daisy kidnapping, then perhaps the little girl just ended up with not just one parent, but 2 parents who will bring her danger for the rest of her little soap opera life. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Here's what happened in Port Charles today on the General Hospital recap for Wednesday, June 18, 2025. At the Metro Court pool, Christina poked arresting Cody to check in and see how their plan was going. He told her to leave because the plan was in motion, and Ava was going to show up any minute. Cody called Ava over when she arrived, and she said she came to work by the pool since it was a beautiful day. She sat next to Cody as Christina watched from behind until she got a call from Elizabeth. They were flirting and bonding over their love of gambling when Molly walked in and spotted them. Cody and Ava got drinks as Molly continued to watch from a side table when Alexis showed up to meet with her. Molly said she was trying to loosen up a bit by meeting at the pool, wearing a sundress, and even having a beer. After chatting a bit, Alexis noticed Molly was distracted by watching them. Ava, cozying up to Cody, did not sit right with Molly. Especially since she was already dating Rick, Molly felt Cody was too nice of a guy for Ava to sink her fangs into. Ava and Cody continued to talk about their love of gambling, and she even confided in him about Kiki. Eventually, she got up to leave, but said it was great running into him. After jumping in the pool, Cody spotted Molly sitting with a beer. At Curtis's Aurora office, Portia apologized to him for not telling him the truth about Drew. They were on the verge of kissing when Curtis pulled back, saying he was not ready yet. Portia acknowledged she had to earn his trust back, but she hoped he would give her a chance. Jordan walked in unannounced. She apologetically asked if she was interrupting, to which Portia replied that she was. Jordan offered to leave, but Curtis stopped her, which did not please Portia. Curtis let Portia know he didn't mean to brush her off, but he wanted to continue their conversation at home, where there would be more time and privacy. She acquiesced and went back to work. As she left, she pointedly told Jordan, "My husband is all yours, so to speak." After Portia left, Jordan said she came to follow up about Sidwell's media buy for Measure C Curtis. Frustrated because he felt like he was getting it from all sides today, shared with her Drew's demand to write a hit piece on Michael. The two sat and talked, and he shared his conversation with Michael. In the end, Curtis said it might be too late for him and Portia. After Portia left, she called Anna to meet up because she was in desperate need of a friend and a drink. At the hospital, Rick asked Isaiah if he knew where Elizabeth was. Isaiah let him know she was taking a personal day because Aiden and Lucky just left for Europe. Rick asked if Elizabeth said how long they would be gone. Smartly, Isaiah offered him Lucky's number so Rick could ask him all the questions he wanted. Rick attempted to act like he wasn't being nosy and instead was concerned for Elizabeth. Isaiah said he could see that he was concerned, but Elizabeth could take care of herself, and if he had any questions, he could inquire somewhere else. As Rick walked away, Isaiah called him back and with a wry smile cautioned, "Lucky is one of my best friends, so I'll be looking out for Elizabeth while he's gone. So, you mess with her, you mess with me." A displeased Rick assured Isaiah that Elizabeth didn't need protection from him. Meanwhile, Trina and Kai were being filmed for the documentary when they came to the hospital to find out about his test results. She asked for a quick break and expressed to Kai she was hopeful the documentary would be done once he received his test results. Kai said it would be up to Drew. Kai told Trina that Josh might be with him all season. Trina was not happy with Drew's ongoing presence. Kai said he got it that she and her parents don't like Drew, but he did. After a quick disagreement, they agreed not to argue about the situation. In the doctor's office, the doctor reiterated that the surgery was a success, but based on his latest results, the titanium had not sufficiently fused to his spine to the extent needed to make up for the damage of the initial fracture. In disbelief, Kai asked if he was ever going to play football again. Trina demanded that Josh turn the camera off. Trina asked if Kai's condition could improve over time. The doctor said anything was possible, but it looked like it was as good as it was going to get. Next, she asked about a secondary procedure, which the doctor said would be much too risky. The doctor understood it was disappointing news, but tried to reassure him that he was healthy. His L4 was in much better shape because of the surgery, and he would still be able to participate in non-contact sports. If he were to get hit, though, it could be catastrophic for him. Kai thanked him for his work. After the doctor left, Josh attempted to start filming and interviewing Kai again. Trina threatened, "Josh, if you don't get that damn camera out of his face, I'm going to drop kick it out of a window and pitch you right behind it." Josh left. Distraught, Kai said it was all over, and they hugged. Kai questioned what he was going to do now and was inconsolably upset that he had lost football and the life he had worked so hard for. He admitted to Trina he was not used to being so vulnerable. After expressing his gratitude to her, he left, having said there was something he had to do on his own. After Kai left, Trina went to her mom's office to share the bad news and vent about Drew. Isaiah went to Portia's office and asked if she knew if Elizabeth and Rick Lansing were tight. After seeing Rick's reaction, he was worried he had messed up telling Rick about Lucky leaving town, and now Elizabeth would have to deal with him. When Isaiah said he thought Elizabeth would always love Lucky even if they couldn't be together, Portia remarked that sometimes feelings for an ex never go away, and to just ask Jordan. Sitting in their house, Willow reflected on first moving in and how much hope and promise she had for the life she would fill it with. Now, she thought it felt empty, like her. Willow held Amelia's favorite stuffed giraffe. When Drew began to tell her the custody battle wasn't over, Willow stopped him and asked him not to make any more promises he couldn't keep. Drew said he didn't want to give her false hope, but didn't want her to give up either. Willow felt it was over, and she would never get her kids back. She went on to list the cruel things she felt Michael had done, not knowing that Drew was responsible for almost all of it. She regretted fighting with Michael and gambling with her children, because now she had lost them forever. Drew, who was looking somewhat remorseful, stopped Willow to tell her she didn't understand what really happened. Instead of coming clean, he said it was his fault for underestimating Michael. He told her Martin had a plan which could help. The plan to help get her kids back apparently required that they get married. A little confused, Willow clarified if Drew was proposing. She was reluctant, but Drew reasoned they were in love and heading toward marriage anyway, and it would give them a fighting chance of getting custody back. She was tired and had a hard time thinking straight, so Drew asked her to just think about it. After he left the hospital, Kai dropped by to see Drew and let him know the documentary was not going to turn out the way either of them wanted. At the Q mansion, Sasha and Michael tucked Daisy in her bassinet. Sasha expressed guilt about running into Willow and everything she lost. With the topic of custody in the air, Michael asked what they were going to do about Daisy. Now that the secret was out, he wanted to change their previous agreement about staying out of Daisy's life, but said he would still respect her terms. Sasha expressed that she was a bit worried he would also fight her for custody, like he did with Willow. Michael assured her that Willow was in a completely different situation and he would not do that to her. Surprisingly, Sasha said she wanted only her name on the birth certificate and to raise Daisy by herself. Shocked, Michael asked, "So you want to cut me out of my daughter's life completely?" Sasha explained she wanted to be the sole parent who raised Daisy without interference from anyone, but she did want Daisy to know he was the father. When she asked Michael if it was something he could deal with, he reluctantly agreed. He requested that he be named as legal guardian if something were to happen to Sasha. Amelia and Wiley came in to spend time with Sasha, Daisy, and Michael as an unknown someone watched from the outside while ominous music played in the background. At Elizabeth's house, Alexis met with her to talk about the car accident. Elizabeth didn't really want to talk about it, but Alexis told her Laura shared that Martin was pressuring her to sue the car company and asked her to look into it to give an objective opinion. Elizabeth asked her to convey her gratitude to Laura, but she had no interest in pursuing a lawsuit. She said she was healed and just ready to put this whole nightmare behind her. After Alexis left for the Metro Court pool to meet with Molly, Elizabeth called Christina to tell her she wanted her to meet at the house. When Christina arrived, Elizabeth said it was time to get everything out in the open. Christina seemed not to understand what she was talking about. A little gleefully, Elizabeth informed Christina that Lucky told her she cut the brake lines and caused the accident. Christina apologized and tried to explain what happened. Elizabeth had little patience for Christina and let her know the only reason she hadn't turned her in was because Lucky would have been charged as an accessory. She admonished her, saying there was no reason or justification for what she did. Christina agreed and said she understood if Elizabeth wanted to turn her in. She assured her she wasn't going to turn her in, but chastised her for her actions and threatened that if she ever did anything like it and revenge plots again, she would turn her in a heartbeat. Rick came by to see Elizabeth. Before she left, Christina thanked Elizabeth for her understanding and let her know they were definitely on the same page. Rick asked what that was all about, but Elizabeth didn't share. Sensing Rick came by because he knew Lucky left town, Elizabeth was impatient and irritated with him. He said he just came by to check on her as a friend and pledged to be there for her if she needed anything. Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. As Drew becomes more manipulative, he tries to keep Kai under his spell by seeming to offer him yet another miracle that might not come to fruition. When one of his ideas fails, he manages to always convince Willow that his next brainstorm will work. So is he about to do the same with Kai? Not if Trina has anything to say about it. She tells Joss about Drew's beef with her father, as well as how he promised Kai the world, only for Kai to be devastated in the end. Jocelyn also can't stand Drew after what he did to her family, so she tells Trina that someone has to stop him. A very determined Trina announces that somebody will, and we believe her. Michael was a little taken aback when Sasha told him she wants to stick with most of their original deal and raise Daisy on her own with no help from him at all. However, she wants her to know who her dad and siblings are, so she is not cutting Daisy out of Michael's life completely. Jason asks Michael if he can live with these rules. Michael might not have time to think about that if something happens to Daisy first. Someone has been lurking outside the window and seems to be in Daisy's nursery. Is the baby in serious danger? Sunny and Sidwell come face to face again when Sunny takes a trip to Spoon Island and confronts the new big bad in town. Sunny warns Sidwell that anyone who comes after his family won't survive. Does Sidwell make a threat against one of Sunny's kids? Or does Sunny learn something new about Sidwell? As for Sidwell's family, Marco finds himself conflicted. Does his father ask him to do something illegal that was not a part of their agreement? Marco says he will represent his father's business, but not if he is using his business to commit crimes. Welcome to the General Hospital Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Keeping up with the mess Christina made when she decided to cut the brakes on Ava's car is exhausting for Alexis, and also exhausting for us. The June 18th episode proved that, especially when we had to remember who knows what about what really happened that night and after. Christina now knows that Lucky told Elizabeth all about that little escapade, but she is still paying Cody to seduce Ava so that Rick and Ava split, and they stop blackmailing Alexis. At least that is Christina's theory on what would happen. But Ava doesn't know she is being scammed, while Rick doesn't know that Elizabeth now knows Christina caused their accident. He visited Liz's house and was surprised to see Christina there, but didn't yet suspect that Liz knew the truth. And Liz doesn't seem to suspect that Rick knows the truth and is blackmailing Alexis. As for Alexis, she also visited Liz to make sure that she doesn't plan to sue the car company. But Alexis and Liz have no idea that the other knows the truth about the accident. And Molly? Well, she knows nothing because nobody has filled her in yet. That means she is confused as to how Alexis and Christina are buddies again, as well as why Ava and Cody are suddenly getting chummy by the pool. And Cody? He has no idea that he is helping Christina cover up an attempted murder. Are you keeping up yet? Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Willow Tate got the worst news of her life in the courtroom when she learned Michael Corinthos scored sole custody of their children. Losing Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos was a terrible blow for Willow, who immediately spiraled out of control and had to be hospitalized. In a new interview with SoD, Caitlin McMullen talked about Willow's devastation and break from reality. The GH actress ultimately went as far as to say it was, in a sense, a mental breakdown. Of course, just because Willow's been discharged doesn't mean she's okay. It's plain to see that Willow's still feeling foggy and lost, even now that she's back in the home she shares with Drew Kane. I think she definitely snapped. She definitely had a moment where she snapped in the courtroom, and I think that there is a little bit of delayed processing, maybe. Even like she's kind of losing it a little bit as she's trying to cope with this feeling of emptiness, McMullen said. It's tough for Willow to even wrap her head around life without Amelia and Wiley, so it makes sense that she's losing her mind right now. This custody loss affected Willow deeply, so that'll continue to drive her current storyline. McMullen obviously couldn't give any major plot details away, but she did offer some intriguing hints about what's ahead. It certainly sounds like things will get worse before they get better for Willow. When it comes to Willow's mental state, McMullen confirmed that anything is possible and mentioned the unpredictability of it all. As Caitlin McMullen wrapped up the interview, she urged viewers to expect the unexpected. That could point to Willow making some truly wild moves due to her mental health decline. CDL has speculated that Willow might be the one who moved Daisy Gilmore Corinthos to the wrong bassinet in the nursery. Willow may have been responsible for Sasha Gilmore Corbin's brief baby mix-up. In the June 18th episode, someone also spied on Michael, Sasha, Wiley, Amelia, and Daisy through a Quartermain mansion window. It could have been Willow if she bolted from Drew's place instead of resting like he suggested. Someone will also hover over Daisy's crib in the June 19th episode, so there's the potential for Willow to be doing all this while blacked out. McMullen essentially encouraged fans to prepare for more Willow mental health curveballs, so it'll be interesting to see how chaotic this story gets. At Curtis's Aurora office, Portia apologized to him for not telling him the truth about Drew. They were on the verge of kissing when Curtis pulled back, saying he was not ready yet. Portia acknowledged she had to earn his trust back, but she hoped he would give her a chance. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Sasha Gilmore Corbin could have some danger coming up. How far will this devoted mom go to protect her baby girl? GH fans know someone appears to be fixated on Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, so this baby stalker situation is bound to spell trouble. It could put Sasha in jeopardy as well if she ends up fighting off a kidnapper or faces some sort of ambush. Whether a blacked-out Willow Tate is obsessing over Daisy or it's someone else instead, this storyline will inevitably blow up in some surprising ways. One of them could involve Sasha landing in a coma, or worse. Michael's dialogue in GH's June 18th episode may have offered an alarming hint about what's ahead. Although Michael would have preferred a different arrangement, he understands that Sasha wants to retain full custody and do things on her own. Daisy will still grow up knowing Michael is her dad, but he's not going to be a hands-on father who helps raise her. Sasha was relieved when Michael agreed to her terms and quickly got on board with his one stipulation. Michael wanted it in writing that if something ever happened to Sasha, he would become Daisy's legal guardian. Of course, there's no guarantee that tragedy will befall Sasha and take her out of the picture. Even so, the fact that Michael raised the possibility is certainly enough to warrant some soapy speculation, especially when it's clear that danger we mentioned is inching closer. If Daisy gets abducted at some point, the kidnapper might try to eliminate Sasha. We could definitely imagine Sasha putting her own life on the line as she tries to stop the snatcher. Even if Sasha survives whatever's in store, she could still wind up comatose and unable to raise Daisy for a while. Michael could suddenly become Daisy's sole parent and totally throw off Sasha's plans. In the quiet coastal town of Port Charles, a drama has unfolded that has left residents reeling and institutions scrambling to restore trust. At the heart of this storm is Drew Kane, a man once hailed as a hero, whose web of deception has unraveled, exposing a trail of betrayal that has shattered lives and reputations. This is the story of how one man's ambition led to his downfall, and how three formidable figures, Willow Tate, Jason Morgan, and Monica Quartermain, stood united to demand justice. For months, Willow Tate clung to the belief that Drew Kane was her steadfast ally. As a mother fighting for custody of her children, Wiley and Amelia, she trusted Drew to guide her through a grueling legal battle. He promised her victory, a future where her family would be whole again, but that trust crumbled when Willow uncovered a devastating truth. Drew had not only failed her, but had orchestrated her downfall. Emails, surveillance footage, and manipulated court records revealed Drew's calculated deceit. He had tampered with the custody case, submitting false assessments, and engaging in illegal backdoor dealings that called Willow's credibility as a mother into question. The betrayal cut deep, especially when Drew, confronted with the evidence, offered not an apology but a marriage proposal, a desperate attempt to salvage his control over her. Willow's response was resolute. She rejected his proposal, her fury fueled by the realization that Drew's actions had cost her custody of her children. Alone in a sterile hospital room, she grieved the loss of her family, vowing to reclaim her life and her children. With newfound strength, she sought legal counsel, initiated an independent review of the trial, and turned to Jason Morgan for clarity, setting the stage for a reckoning. Jason Morgan, long a silent observer of Drew's actions, had watched the cracks form in his brother's carefully crafted image. When Willow's discoveries confirmed his suspicions, Jason's patience gave way to a cold, deliberate resolve. He wasn't just disappointed in Drew, he was done with him. What followed was a meticulous campaign to dismantle Drew's life, not out of vengeance, but to ensure he could never harm again. Jason's strategy was precise. He gathered evidence of Drew's lies, from falsified legal documents to manipulated hospital records. He met quietly with court officials, interviewed Drew's former associates at ELQ, and secured internal communications that exposed his brother's misconduct. His most significant move was enlisting Monica Quartermain, the respected matriarch of the Quartermain family, whose return to Port Charles sent shockwaves through the community. Monica Quartermain had long retreated from Port Charles chaos, seeking peace away from the scandals that plagued her family. But Jason's call brought her back, not to defend Drew, but to confront the ugly truth. Drew had exploited her name, General Hospital's reputation, and the Quartermain legacy to manipulate the justice system, a betrayal Monica could not forgive. Her return was strategic. Monica froze Drew's access to hospital databases, preventing further tampering with records. She authorized a third-party investigation into every legal action Drew had touched, signaling to the public that General Hospital would not shield misconduct. When a confidential memo surfaced, revealing Drew's plan to frame Michael Corinthos as mentally unstable, Monica's resolve hardened. Accompanied by Jason, she delivered the evidence to the district attorney, sparking a formal criminal investigation. As Willow and Jason built their case, Nina Reeves emerged as a third force in the alliance against Drew. Initially sidelined, Nina snapped into action when she uncovered proof that Drew had manipulated mental health records to discredit her, painting her as unstable to sever her ties to Wiley and Amelia. The attack was personal, and Nina fought back with strategic precision. She gathered court documents, surveillance evidence, and damning voice memos in which Drew rehearsed plans to gaslight Willow and portray Nina as unfit. Sharing this evidence with Jason and Monica, Nina helped fuel their campaign. Her quiet outreach to court reporters and media allies amplified the scandal, turning whispers of misconduct into front-page news. As the evidence mounted, Drew's world unraveled. At General Hospital, Monica's audit exposed his policy violations, leading to his suspension and the revocation of his privileges. At ELQ, shareholders launched an investigation, culminating in a vote to remove him indefinitely. Legal authorities froze his assets and drafted arrest warrants, while media outlets declared, Monica Quartermaine turns over evidence against Drew Kane. Drew's personal relationships crumbled. Michael Corinthos cut ties, Carly Spencer distanced herself, and Willow filed a restraining order, marking a final break from the man who had betrayed her. Desperate, Drew attempted to spin the narrative, claiming a smear campaign. But his past contradictions and the weight of the evidence silenced his defenses. The scandal has left Port Charles grappling with its aftermath. Willow, once a victim of Drew's manipulations, has transformed her grief into purpose. She volunteers with advocates, studies legal precedent, and fights to regain custody of her children, fueled by their memories. Jason, ever the silent protector, continues to ensure Drew's influence is eradicated, while Monica's leadership has restored integrity to General Hospital's tarnished reputation. Nina's role, though quieter, has been no less impactful. Her legal countersuits and media strategy have kept the pressure on Drew, ensuring his actions remain in the spotlight. Together, these three have not only ended Drew's reign, but have reshaped Port Charles' understanding of trust and accountability. The fall of Drew Kane is more than a personal tragedy. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the power of truth. For Port Charles, it's a reminder that even heroes can fall when they prioritize control over integrity. Willow's resilience, Jason's precision, and Monica's courage have shown that justice, though painful, is possible when individuals stand together. As the custody battle continues and legal proceedings unfold, one thing is clear. Drew's legacy as a savior has been erased, replaced by a stark reality of consequences. For Willow, Jason, Monica, and Nina, this is not just a victory. It's a commitment to a future where trust is earned, not manipulated. Port Charles will never forget this reckoning, nor the trio who made it happen. In the aftermath of a heartbreaking custody decision, Willow finds herself teetering on the edge, emotionally and morally. Following the judge's ruling in favor of Michael, awarding him custody of their children, Willow has been left devastated and distraught. The decision shattered her hopes, despite her relentless efforts to retain custody. But instead of surrendering completely, she now seems driven by a dangerous mix of grief and revenge. Willow's emotional decline has been swift and severe. After pouring her energy into the custody fight, the loss came as a crushing blow. Yet even in her sorrow, she has refused to let go of the idea of reclaiming her children, at any cost. Observers have noted her growing resentment toward both Michael and Sasha, as thoughts of retaliation have taken root. Reports from the June 17th episode of General Hospital have added fuel to the speculation, as a shocking incident involving Sasha's baby unfolded. Sasha was horrified to realize that the baby she was holding was not her daughter, Daisy. Her panic escalated as confusion set in, and it took Michael's calming presence to keep her grounded. Shortly after, Lucas entered the room holding Daisy. He explained that the mix-up could have been a simple mistake. Perhaps a nurse placed Daisy in the wrong bassinet. While the explanation may seem plausible, many are questioning whether it was a mistake at all. As doubts swirl, two names have emerged as possible suspects: Drew and Willow. Some believe Drew may have bribed a hospital staff member to carry out the baby switch. However, more attention has turned to Willow herself. Despite her fragile state, she is a trained nurse, fully capable of executing a baby swap without detection. Her motive appears rooted in desperation. The idea that she might have used her professional knowledge to switch Sasha's baby in a bid to stir chaos or reclaim her own child is a theory gaining traction. The implications are severe and could mark a dramatic shift in how the custody drama unfolds. Lucas, concerned about the integrity of hospital procedures, has vowed to prevent such an incident from happening again. He has initiated an internal investigation to uncover the truth. If video surveillance confirms that Willow was behind the switch, the fallout could be significant. Should Michael receive evidence implicating Willow, he is likely to respond with anger and protective resolve. A stern warning could follow, demanding that Willow stay away from their children entirely. The consequences could extend beyond custody, possibly affecting Willow's career and mental stability. As questions mount and tensions rise, all eyes are on Willow. If her involvement in the baby switch is confirmed, it could mark a point of no return in her relationship with Michael, Sasha, and even her children. Her actions, whether driven by love, pain, or vengeance, have the potential to reshape the lives of everyone involved. This unfolding story highlights not only the emotional toll of custody battles, but also the extreme measures people may take when they feel cornered. For viewers, the drama is far from over, and for Willow, the next move could change everything. In the picturesque yet turbulent town of Port Charles, the week of June 23rd to 27 promises a cascade of emotional upheavals, hidden truths, and strategic maneuvers that could reshape lives forever. General Hospital, the heartbeat of this community, is set to witness a storm of revelations that will test relationships, expose motives, and spark confrontations. From a shocking engagement to covert investigations, the residents are bracing for a week where secrets refuse to stay buried. At the center of the turmoil is Nina, a mother grappling with her past as she watches her daughter Willow rush toward a future that feels dangerously wrong. Willow's sudden engagement to Drew, a man with a complicated history, sends shockwaves through Nina's fragile bond with her daughter. Unbeknownst to Willow, Nina once shared a passionate encounter with Drew, a secret that now threatens to unravel their painstakingly rebuilt trust. Nina's internal struggle is palpable. Should she reveal her past to save Willow from what she sees as a manipulative union, or stay silent to preserve their delicate peace? The stakes are high, as Nina fears that confessing could paint her as a betrayer in Willow's eyes, potentially costing her their relationship forever. Drew, meanwhile, moves with a troubling urgency. Whispers among Port Charles insiders suggest his proposal is less about love and more about securing influence within the powerful Quartermain family. His rapid push to formalize the engagement raises red flags for Nina and others, including Michael, Willow's former partner, who suspects Drew is exploiting Willow's emotional vulnerability following their recent estrangement. Adding to the tension, Tracy, a formidable figure in the Quartermain clan, looms as a potential wildcard. Known for her ruthless opposition to Drew's ambitions, Tracy may unleash her arsenal of secrets to derail the wedding, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown that could expose Drew's true intentions in front of all Port Charles. Amid the adult chaos, young Emma emerges as an unexpected force. Sharp and intuitive, Emma senses the unsettling dynamics around Willow's engagement. Quietly, she crafts a subtle plan to expose Drew's motives, protect her loved ones, and unearth the truths others are too entangled to see. Her understated actions hint at a cunning strategy, positioning her as the wild card who could tip the scales when the wedding day arrives. Emma's involvement doesn't stop there. Drawn to an animal rights group, she unknowingly steps into a web of deception orchestrated by Jocelyn and Vaughn. Vaughn, posing as a kindred spirit, ingratiates himself into Emma's circle to monitor her movements and steer her away from dangerous discoveries. Yet, Emma's wariness suggests she may be playing her own game, testing Vaughn's sincerity while guarding her true intentions. Elsewhere, Curtis, a man of strategy and resolve, takes it upon himself to shield his former partner, Portia, from Drew's growing influence. Curtis sees through Drew's carefully curated image as a hero, suspecting his actions are driven by ambition and deceit. His meticulous surveillance uncovers troubling financial dealings, hinting at a hidden empire Drew is building behind the scenes. Curtis's pursuit is not without risk. Michael warns that his obsession with exposing Drew could backfire, especially if it becomes too personal. Yet, as Drew's behavior grows bolder and more erratic, both men sense he's on the verge of a catastrophic mistake, one that could bring his schemes crashing down. The week's drama extends beyond personal conflicts into a shadowy investigation led by Jason, tasked by Anna to probe the enigmatic Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Jason's instincts tell him Dalton is no ordinary academic. Fragments of the professor's past reveal ties to experimental defense contracts and international operatives. As Jason digs deeper, he uncovers a conspiracy that threatens global stability, placing him and his allies in increasing danger. Simultaneously, Jocelyn and Vaughn navigate their own high-stakes mission. Their fabricated romance, designed to mask their true agenda, begins to blur the line between pretense and reality. As genuine feelings complicate their partnership, their allies, Carly, Trina, and Dex, grow suspicious, sensing inconsistencies in their behavior. Carly, in particular, is relentless, quietly investigating Vaughn's background and inching closer to the truth. As June 23 to 27 unfolds, Port Charles stands on the precipice of chaos. The impending wedding of Willow and Drew, fraught with secrets and ulterior motives, serves as a microcosm of the town's broader tensions. Nana's looming confession, Emma's subtle machinations, and Tracy's potential sabotage threaten to turn a day of celebration into one of devastation. Meanwhile, Curtis's pursuit of Drew, Jason's probe into Dalton, and the unraveling facade of Jocelyn and Vaughn's partnership weave a complex tapestry of trust and betrayal. In the quiet town of Port Charles, where family ties and personal histories run deep, a shocking revelation has shaken the lives of Lulu Spencer and her loved ones. Known for her unwavering commitment to honesty and integrity, Lulu has long been a pillar of strength for her children, particularly her son Rocco, whom she raised with love and transparency. However, a carefully guarded secret from her past, exposed by a vengeful rival, has now shattered the trust she worked so hard to build, leaving her family grappling with betrayal, heartbreak, and questions about identity. This unfolding drama serves as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between protecting those we love and the devastating power of hidden truths. Lulu Spencer has always prided herself on her devotion to truthfulness, a value she believed strengthened her relationships and defined her role as a mother. For Lulu, being a good parent meant shielding her children through openness, never allowing secrets to fester. Her son Rocco, whom she cherished deeply, was the embodiment of her commitment to honesty. She raised him with unconditional love, fostering a bond built on trust and mutual respect. To Rocco, Lulu was not just a mother, but a confidant and guide, the one person he could always rely on. This foundation of transparency was the fortress Lulu believed would protect her family forever. However, unbeknownst to her, a long-standing rival, Brooke Lynn Quartermain, was plotting a meticulous revenge driven by years of jealousy and unresolved emotional wounds. Brooke Lynn had uncovered Lulu's most vulnerable secret, a truth so potent it threatened to dismantle everything Lulu held dear. The bombshell that Brooke Lynn unleashed was as cruel as it was shocking. Lulu had not carried Rocco herself. Instead, Rocco was born to Britt Westbourne, who had used stolen embryos belonging to Lulu and her husband, Dante Falconeri, as part of a manipulative scheme to trap another man, Patrick Drake. Lulu had discovered this truth years ago, but chose to bury it, convinced that silence was the only way to protect Rocco's fragile world. She believed that shielding him from the complex circumstances of his birth was an act of love, not deceit. Brooke Lynn, however, saw this secret as the perfect weapon. With calculated precision, she exposed the truth, forcing Lulu to confront a past she thought she had locked away. The revelation didn't stop there. Brooke Lynn delivered another blow by revealing that Gio, a trusted friend of Lulu and Dante's, was actually her and Dante's biological son. Lulu, in a desperate attempt to regain control, publicly exposed this truth, believing it would restore her moral standing. But Brooke Lynn was relentless, retaliating by amplifying the truth about Rocco's birth, shattering the illusion of perfection Lulu had carefully crafted. The impact of these revelations was immediate and devastating, particularly for Rocco. Raised in the warmth of Lulu's unconditional love, Rocco had never doubted his mother's honesty. Learning that she had concealed such a monumental truth, that Britt, a distant and enigmatic figure, was the one who brought him into the world, left him reeling. The discovery unraveled his sense of identity, filling him with bitterness, confusion, and a profound sense of betrayal. To Rocco, Lulu's silence was not a protective act, but a painful deception that tainted their once unbreakable bond. For Dante, the crisis compounded an already complex situation. Having recently learned that Gio was his biological son, Dante was still navigating the emotional weight of that discovery when Rocco's world collapsed. Watching his son suffer such deep pain left Dante feeling helpless, torn between his loyalty to Lulu and his growing bond with Gio. He was furious at Brooke Lynn for weaponizing their personal history and equally frustrated by Lulu's decision to keep the truth hidden, realizing that his own past choices had inadvertently contributed to the chaos. Amid the escalating turmoil, Britt Westbourne's unexpected return to Port Charles changed the course of the narrative. No longer the manipulative figure from her past, Britt sought redemption through honesty. Armed with irrefutable evidence, she publicly confirmed that Lulu's silence was driven by love, not malice, reframing Lulu as a victim rather than a villain. While Britt's intervention shifted public perception, the damage to Rocco's sense of self had already taken root, leaving him struggling to reconcile his love for Lulu with his feelings of betrayal. Brooke Lynn, meanwhile, began to grapple with the consequences of her vendetta. What started as a personal quest for revenge had spiraled out of control, harming not only Lulu, but also those Brooke Lynn cared about, including her newly discovered brother, Gio. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!